There is a voice inside you. It whispers when no one is listening. It whispers in the quiet moments, the empty rooms, the long nights, and it always asks the same question: are you enough? Most people ignore it. They cover it with noise, distraction, excuses, alcohol, screens, conversation, anything that keeps them from listening, but it doesn't go away. That whisper grows louder with time. It grows into doubt. It grows into fear. It grows into regret. One day it stops whispering and starts screaming, and by then you've been running your whole life from yourself. The mirror is the same. It never lies. It only shows you the truth you've been hiding. And here's the hard part. The truth is not comfortable. It stares at the half of it, the skipped workouts, the broken promises, the unfulfilled potential. It reflects the moments you chose comfort over growth. It shows the lies you tell yourself about who you are. Facing it is the first act of power. It hurts because it should, because until you feel it, you cannot change it. Because the mirror doesn't judge, it only reflects. You might look and see a weak, frightened person. Good. That is the person you must meet. Not the imagined hero. Not the projected identity. The real you. Every habit, every decision, every moment you ignored that whisper has built walls around you. And now the walls feel permanent. But they are not. They are temporary. They crumble with repeated honesty. You start small. You admit where you failed. You acknowledge the laziness, the fear, the anger, the envy. You name the truth, and naming it breaks its power. Then you step further. You look deeper. You see the moments you ran from pain instead of embracing it. You see the moments you made excuses instead of discipline. You see the life you avoided living because it felt too hard. And in that reflection, you find something unexpected. You find possibility. You find freedom. You find power, because the mirror is not your enemy. It is your teacher. Every line, every scar, every shadow is a lesson. Every weakness is an invitation to strength. Every regret is a blueprint for courage. And the more time you spend looking, the more clarity comes. You start to understand the illusions you've been chasing, the approval you sought, the comfort you clung to, the shortcuts you believed would save you. All of it is gone in the mirror. What remains is raw truth, and in that truth you see the path forward. The first step is simple, look. The second step is harder, admit. The third step is hardest of all, act, because you cannot change what you refuse to face. You cannot grow if you do not confront your fear, your weakness, your lies. You cannot be unbreakable if you never break the illusion that protects your comfort. Pain will come, failure will come, fear will come, but now you are ready. The mirror has shown you yourself stripped bare, and when you know what is real, nothing outside can touch you. Pain is a teacher no one wants, but everyone needs. It doesn't speak softly. It doesn't comfort you. It doesn't ask if you're ready. It just arrives, uninvited, unapologetic, and brutally honest. But here's the truth that separates the broken from the unbreakable. The pain you run from is the pain that shapes you, and the only way to stop it from controlling you is to face it again and again until you no longer fear it. This is what it means to callous the mind. When you work your hands hard enough, the skin thickens. It stops bleeding. It stops feeling every cut. And that same process, that same repetition, works on your mind. Every failure, every rejection, every morning you wake up when you don't want to, every workout when you're tired, every no you turn into another step forward. Each one builds a layer, invisible armor. a defense not against the world, but against your own weakness, because weakness is not an enemy you defeat once. It's a shadow that follows you forever, and only the calloused mind keeps it from taking over again. People think toughness is loud. It's not. It's quiet. It's the man who wakes up at 4 a.m. with no applause. It's the woman who keeps showing up when no one believes in her. It's the person who doesn't need validation, just vision. When life gets easy, you get soft, and softness is the silent killer of greatness. So you must train yourself to do what others avoid. Wake up early when you want to sleep. Work harder when you want to rest. Run when it hurts. Speak truth when it stings. Do the thing your fear tries to silence. That's how you build calluses. Not on your hands, but on your mind, because the mind breaks long before the body does. It whispers, stop, while you still have miles left in you. It convinces you you've done enough when you've barely begun. But if you've trained it, if you've built that armor, the voice of weakness becomes nothing more than noise. There will come a day when life hits you hard. A loss, a failure, a betrayal, something that cuts deep enough to make you question everything. And in that moment, your mind will reach for the armor it's built. If you've calloused it through discipline, pain, and repetition, you'll stand firm. You'll feel the hit, but it won't break you, because every struggle you endured was a rehearsal for that moment. Every hardship was training. Every lonely night was preparation. You don't get stronger by avoiding pain. You get stronger by absorbing it. Callousing the mind doesn't make life easier. It makes you harder. It turns emotional chaos into clarity. It replaces fear with focus. It transforms I can't into watch me. When you master this, life's storms stop feeling like punishment. They become proof. Proof that you can endure. Proof that you've grown. Proof that nothing can hurt you that hasn't already made you stronger. Because every drop of sweat, every tear, every moment of doubt is another layer of armor forming around your soul. So when people ask how to stay strong, you don't talk about motivation or luck. You talk about repetition. You talk about facing the same pain until it no longer owns you. You talk about how the mind, like the hands, becomes tougher only through work, failure, and friction. That is the truth of strength. That is the art of becoming untouchable. The world may still throw its punches, but you no longer bleed from the same wounds. You've calloused the mind. You've built the armor. You've earned your peace through pain. And that is the beginning of unbreakable. There comes a point in every struggle when your body gives up before the fight is over. Your lungs burn. Your legs shake. Your heart pounds like war drums. You think you've reached the limit, but you haven't. You've only met the wall your mind built to protect you. And that wall is a lie, because when the mind says, I can't, you've still got 60% of your power waiting behind the pain. This is the 40% rule. The truth that your limits are not physical. They're psychological. Every time you quit early, you're not saving energy. You're teaching your mind that weakness wins, and the mind remembers. It remembers the shortcuts, the surrender, the moments you bowed to comfort. It remembers them so well that next time quitting becomes easier. But the opposite is also true. Every time you go one step beyond your limit, you build a new threshold. You carve a new identity. You teach your mind to obey you, not the other way around. The human body is a masterpiece of endurance. It was built to hunt, to survive, to suffer. It's your mind that forgot what you're made of. Society taught you to stop when things get hard, to take a break, to seek comfort, but greatness lives beyond that comfort. The legends of every era, soldiers, explorers, creators, survivors, they all reached the same breaking point you have. The only difference? They kept going when it hurt. They didn't wait for the pain to end. They worked through it because they knew that pain isn't the signal to stop. It's the sign that growth is happening. You see, the 40% rule isn't just about running marathons or lifting weights. It's about how you live. When your business fails, can you rebuild? When your heart breaks, can you still trust? When your dream collapses, can you stand up again and chase it harder? That's where the 40% rule becomes a mindset. You train it in the small moments. When the alarm rings and your body says no, you get up anyway. When you're tired, you finish the work anyway. When fear whispers, you move forward anyway. Every anyway is another strike against weakness, another crack in the wall of limitation, another victory that belongs only to you. The mind is a negotiator. It bargains with your comfort, whispers that you've done enough. But your spirit, your real power, doesn't negotiate. It's primal. It's infinite. It's waiting for you to prove you deserve it. When you push past 40%, you enter a place most people never reach, a zone where pain turns into rhythm and struggle becomes peace. You stop thinking about quitting. You start hearing your own heartbeat, not as panic, but as purpose. And suddenly something shifts. The fear fades. The exhaustion becomes background noise. The pain becomes proof. You start realizing that everything you've ever wanted, discipline, strength, success, peace, is not given. It's extracted, and the cost is discomfort. Every legend, every success story, every transformation begins at the point where others quit, because quitting is the most crowded place in the world. Few ever walk past it. Fewer still stay long enough to build something there. The 40% rule is not about arrogance. It's about awareness. It's the understanding that your ceiling is only a story you told yourself. And once you break that story, the world can't contain you anymore. You realize that pain is not your enemy. It's your compass. It points toward everything worth achieving. The voice in your head that says, stop, that's not weakness. That's your body asking if you truly mean what you say. So you answer it not with words, but with action. You keep moving. You breathe through the pain. You smile through the burn. Because you're not chasing comfort anymore. You're chasing freedom. Freedom from limits. Freedom from excuses. Freedom from the fear that once owned you. When you reach that moment, the pain doesn't end, but it transforms. It becomes energy. It becomes power. It becomes you. And that's when you understand the truth. You were never broken, just underused. The world teaches us to chase comfort, warm rooms, soft beds, easy choices. But comfort is a silent assassin. It whispers to your ambition until it falls asleep. It numbs your edge until your potential fades into the background noise of ordinary life. Discomfort, though, that's the real classroom. That's where the mind sharpens. That's where you discover what you're truly made of. You see, mastery isn't born from talent. It's forged in tension, the kind that breaks most people. It's found in the long nights when no one claps for you, in the grind that doesn't post well on social media, in the small, unglamorous moments where pain and progress shake hands. That's where transformation lives. That's where the uncomfortable becomes sacred. When you willingly enter discomfort, you're telling your mind, I control this story now. You're no longer reacting to fear, you're training it. You're reshaping your relationship with pain. Pain stops being punishment. It becomes preparation. And that shift, that quiet, invisible shift, is what separates the strong from the soft. Most people wait until life forces discomfort on them. They wait for failure, heartbreak, loss, and then they panic. But masters, they seek discomfort before it finds them. They walk into it with open eyes because they know every storm you endure on purpose makes you untouchable when the real storms arrive. That's the art of mental callousing, the spiritual toughness that grows when you stop running from hard things. Think of the soldier who trains in the cold rain, the artist who creates when uninspired, the athlete who keeps pushing after the crowd goes home. They've learned the secret. Discomfort is not a signal to stop. It's a signal to start becoming who you said you were. Every moment of resistance is a mirror asking, do you still want this when it hurts? And every time you answer yes, your soul hardens into steel. The world will always try to sell you the easy path. Shortcuts, motivation hacks, instant wins. But here's the truth. Anything built without discomfort falls apart in the first storm. Real confidence doesn't come from comfort. It comes from chaos. It's earned in the cold, not in the warmth. The one who learns to sit in discomfort, to breathe in chaos, to walk through fear without flinching, that's the one who becomes unstoppable. Every discomfort you survive adds a new weapon to your arsenal. You stop overreacting. You stop craving approval. You stop needing the world to be kind before you take action because you've trained in worse. You've felt pain and didn't break. You've lived without comfort and still kept moving. That memory, that inner proof becomes your power. So the next time you face something hard, you don't panic, you recognize it. You nod to it like an old friend. You think, we've been here before, and that recognition turns fear into focus. Discomfort doesn't mean suffering forever. It means learning to hold pressure without breaking. It means building an emotional callus around your discipline, so nothing external can pierce it. Once you master discomfort, life can't surprise you. It can only sharpen you. Understand this. The mind adapts faster than the body. Every moment you push through pain, the mind updates its definition of possible. You start to crave the grind. You start to need the discomfort, not because you love pain, but because you love who you become through it. That's the paradox of mastery. The more you run toward discomfort, the freer you become, because comfort may feel like peace, but it's a cage. And discomfort? It's the key that breaks the lock. You cannot grow and stay comfortable at the same time. You cannot be powerful and protected. You cannot be legendary and lazy. The path is narrow. The pain is real. But so is the freedom waiting on the other side. So keep walking. Keep breathing through the burn. Keep stepping into the storm. Willingly, deliberately, fearlessly. Because the one who learns to master discomfort no longer fears anything at all. Every morning, before the world can shape you, there's a moment. You walk past the mirror. You look, and for a second you see everything. Not your face, not your body, but your truth. The mirror has no mercy. It doesn't care about your excuses, your stories, or your pain. It shows you exactly who you are, unfiltered, unfinished, unescaped. That's why most people avoid it. They turn the lights off when they walk by. They hide behind humor, ambition, or denial, because the mirror doesn't show who you want to be. It shows who you've actually become. When David Goggins first looked into his mirror, he saw weakness, lies, and broken promises. He didn't see potential. He saw proof. Proof of every excuse he'd ever made. Proof of a life unlived. But here's what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. He didn't turn away. He faced it. Every day, he called it his accountability mirror, because every time he looked into it, he demanded an answer. Why am I not who I said I'd be? That mirror became his battleground. No filters, no validation, just brutal honesty. You see, most people talk about self-love. Few talk about self-respect. And respect doesn't grow from comfort. It grows from confrontation. You don't build confidence by lying to yourself. You build it by facing yourself daily and doing what needs to be done. The accountability mirror doesn't ask for perfection. It demands progress. It asks, what did you promise yourself yesterday? Did you deliver? And if the answer is no, you don't hide, you don't cry, you don't justify. You write it down, you own it, and you fix it. That's how discipline is born. Not from motivation, but from self-respect. Every post-it note Goggins put on his mirror carried a declaration. Lose weight. Run 5 miles. Study more. Stop being weak. Simple, brutal reminders. Because the truth doesn't need decoration. It just needs to be faced. You want to change your life? Start with the reflection. Start with the one person you can't lie to. We think transformation happens in big moments. It doesn't. It happens in the quiet ones. When you're staring at yourself, ashamed, tired, ready to quit, and you whisper, not today. That whisper is power. That whisper rebuilds your identity. Because every time you face the mirror, you rewrite the story your excuses tried to tell. The accountability mirror teaches you the hardest truth of all. No one's coming to save you. Not your parents. Not your boss. Not motivation. You. You are the project. You are the problem. You are the solution, and that's the most liberating truth you'll ever accept. The mirror doesn't care who hurt you. It doesn't care how hard your past was. It only cares about one thing. What are you doing now? Because the past may have built your pain, but only the present can build your power. Look again, not at your flaws, at your possibilities, at the person buried under your excuses, the person who's waiting to be unleashed. You've seen glimpses of them before, in moments of courage, in flashes of discipline, in rare days when you showed up fully. That person is real. They just need to be reminded daily of who they are. That's what the mirror does. It reflects your truth and dares you to live up to it. So tonight, stand before it again. No lights dimmed, no distractions, just you. Ask the questions no one else can ask you. Am I honest about my effort? Am I living below my standards? Am I keeping promises to myself? And if the answer burns, good. That pain means there's still fire left in you. The accountability mirror doesn't break you. It rebuilds you, piece by piece, truth by truth, promise by promise, dot, comma, until one day you no longer see who you were, you see who you became. And that reflection, the one that no longer flinches under honesty, that's the moment you realize you can't be hurt anymore, because truth is armor, and you finally learned to wear it. We all have moments when we're spent, when our muscles scream, when our minds beg for mercy, when the easiest choice is to quit. But it's in those moments that everything changes, because the person who finishes the set, runs the extra mile, types one more page, or faces one more fear, that person is the one who becomes unbreakable. One more rep isn't just physical. It's mental. It's spiritual. It's the whispered promise you make to yourself. I am not defined by limits. I am defined by effort beyond limits. Most people never reach this threshold. They settle for comfort disguised as progress. They stop when the pain is inconvenient. They quit because society told them enough was enough, but mastery, real mastery, lives beyond that line. Imagine the athlete. They've run every mile, lifted every weight, sweated every drop, and when the body says stop, the mind whispers, one more rep. One more rep isn't just training. It's defiance. Defiance against weakness, doubt, fear, and limitation. Every time you push past what you think is your limit, you teach your mind a new truth. Your limits were lies. Your fatigue was temporary. Your pain was a signal, not a stop sign. And the more you repeat this, the more it compounds. Your identity shifts. You are no longer a person who quits. You are a person who finishes. You are a person who endures. You are a person who grows stronger in adversity. Think of the moments that define your life. Most victories didn't come from talent. They came from persistence, from one more rep when giving up was easier, from staying silent when complaining was cheaper, from acting when everyone else waited. That's the power of small, deliberate overflows of effort. The grind accumulates. The micro-victories add up. The extra mile, the extra hour, the extra thought. They shape destiny. This principle extends beyond physical feats. It's in the boardroom, the classroom, the studio, the workshop. It's in every area of life where excellence is possible. One more call, one more draft, one more apology, one more question asked, one more idea executed. Each one compounds. Each one strengthens the foundation of who you are. The mind begins to rewire itself. Fatigue becomes a challenge, not a warning. Fear becomes a signal, not a barrier. Pain becomes a teacher, not an enemy. And slowly, imperceptibly, you start to live in a new dimension of resilience. Here's the truth. Most of life's rewards are invisible until you do one more rep at the gym, one more minute on the project, one more conversation with your child, one more act of courage. It is never glamorous. It is never celebrated, but it builds the bedrock of greatness. Every time you push past what you think is your limit, you expand it. Every time you refuse to quit, you rewrite your story. Every extra effort compounds into a version of yourself that is unshakable. The question isn't, can I handle this? The question is, will I take the extra step? Because one more rep doesn't just change your body, it changes your mind, your identity, your destiny. The world will test you. It will push you to your edges. It will try to convince you that you are finished. But if you've learned to give one more rep, you will not believe it. You will not quit. You will keep moving, because the moment you take that step beyond what you thought was possible, you understand the secret. Limits are illusions. Discomfort is opportunity. Pain is currency. And with each one more rep, you buy freedom. You buy strength. You buy yourself. Life does not hand out victories in comfort. It hands out lessons in pain. The universe is relentless. It will challenge, betray, disappoint, and break you. The difference between those who survive and those who thrive is not luck. It is how they harness suffering. Most people run from it. They avoid discomfort, numbing it with distractions, excuses, or blame. They believe the world owes them ease, but the truth is brutal. Ease builds weakness. Suffering, when faced, builds strength. Every scar, every failure, every betrayal is a message. It says, you are being forged. You are being tested. You are being called to rise. David Goggins didn't become unbreakable by avoiding pain. He became unbreakable by staring into it, by accepting its presence, and by converting it into power. Pain is honest. It doesn't lie like people do. It doesn't flatter. It doesn't cheat. Pain tells the truth about your limits, and then dares you to go beyond. You will face physical pain. You will face emotional pain. You will face humiliation, loss, and betrayal. It will come in waves, relentless, unforgiving, unavoidable. You can let it crush you, or you can let it teach you. The first step is acceptance. Stop wishing it away. Stop blaming others. Stop hiding. Face it fully, without flinching. When you accept suffering, it loses its power to scare you. The second step is ownership. Understand your role in it. What part did your choices, inaction, or denial play in this suffering? Own it, correct it, and learn from it. The third step is transformation. Use it. Let it drive your training, your work, your character. Let it fuel one more rep, one more mile, one more day of relentless pursuit. Suffering is the ultimate teacher. It exposes weakness. It exposes fear. It exposes excuses. But it also exposes opportunity. The opportunity to grow faster than comfort ever allows. To build resilience stronger than privilege can buy. To discover power hidden in plain sight. Inside yourself, think about your hardest days, the nights you cried in silence, the moments you felt trapped, powerless, or betrayed. Those were your classrooms. Those were your teachers. Those were the moments that would decide your life. If you chose to learn, not escape, every time you endure, every time you push through pain when quitting is easy, you build an invisible armor. An armor that shields you from fear, an armor that shields you from doubt, an armor that shields you from the world's attempts to break you. The most powerful people aren't those who avoid suffering. They are the ones who step into it, embrace it, and use it as a ladder to climb higher. Pain is unavoidable. Suffering is optional. You decide which it will be. When you transform suffering into fuel, the world loses its ability to intimidate you. Challenges become opportunities. Failures become lessons. Limits become invitations. This is the mastery of the human spirit. To suffer and through suffering, to rise. Every scar tells a story. Every hardship hides a lesson. Every tear holds a secret power. Your job is simple but brutal. See it, own it, convert it, and the day you do, you no longer fear pain. You no longer fear failure. You no longer fear life. You understand the ultimate secret. Suffering is not your enemy. It is your gateway. All the mirrors you've faced, all the pain you've endured, all the reps, the miles, the sleepless nights, the rejection, the ridicule, they were preparing you for this moment. This is where excuses die, where fear crumbles, where weakness is transformed into unshakable strength. The truth is simple. No one can hurt you unless you allow it. Your mind is the gatekeeper. Your choices are the locks. Your discipline is the key. You've faced discomfort. You've embraced suffering. You've pushed past limits that once seemed insurmountable. Now, nothing outside of you has the power to break that foundation. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every insult becomes fuel. Every hardship becomes a step toward mastery. You walk through the world differently. Not arrogant, not untouchable, but calm, grounded, unstoppable. Your emotions don't control you. Your circumstances don't dictate you. Your pain doesn't define you. You are the architect of your inner fortress. This state isn't achieved overnight. It is built brick by brick, rep by rep, suffering by suffering, every choice to endure, every decision to act when others retreat, every embrace of discomfort. These build an identity no storm can dismantle. You no longer need approval. You no longer seek validation. You no longer fear the unknown. The voice in your head that whispers, "You can't," has been silenced by one more rep, one more mile, one more victory over fear. The body that once betrayed you, that once ached, that once screamed for mercy. You've trained it to obey. You've trained it to persist. You've trained it to triumph. And the mind is your empire. It is limitless. It is free. It is unbreakable. This is the essence of "Can't Hurt Me." You carry all the power you need inside yourself. No one can give it to you. No one can take it from you. It is yours to claim and yours to defend. Life will test you. People will doubt you. Pain will return, but you will endure. You will persevere. You will rise, because the person you've become cannot be shaken. The person you've forged in pain, discipline, and relentless pursuit, that person cannot be hurt. You have learned the rules of suffering. You have learned the mastery of discipline. You have learned the power of endurance. You are no longer at the mercy of the world. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are no longer chained by doubt. You are free. You are strong. You are unbreakable. This is the final lesson. No one can hurt you unless you give them permission. No fear can control you unless you let it. No pain can define you unless you submit to it. Everything you've faced, everything you've conquered, everything you've endured has led you here. And here, in this moment, you understand the ultimate truth. You can't hurt me. You can't break me, because I am my own fortress. I am my own master. I am unshakable. Look back. See the mirror. See the reflection that stared at fear, doubt, and pain and refused to blink. You faced the truth that excuses never protect. They enslave. You calloused your mind, trained it in discomfort, and discovered the strength hidden in suffering. You pushed past the imagined limits with the 40% rule, proving your body and mind can endure far more than you believed. You mastered the uncomfortable, learning to find peace in pain, clarity in chaos, and growth in struggle. You confronted yourself in the accountability mirror. You stopped hiding, stopped blaming, stopped letting life define you. Every day, every choice, every rep reinforced the person you were becoming. You embraced the mantra of one more rep, understanding that micro-effort compounds into unstoppable momentum. You transformed suffering into fuel, converting trauma into direction, despair into strategy, weakness into strength. And now you stand here, in the final part, unshakable. Can't hurt me is no longer a statement. It is your state of being. The journey was brutal. It was relentless. It was often lonely, and it was real. But in that reality, you discovered something extraordinary. Your limits were lies. Your pain was currency. Your fear was a teacher. Your suffering was a ladder, and your life is yours to shape. Every part of this journey has led to one ultimate truth. The world can challenge you. It can break systems, crush comfort, and test your spirit. But it cannot hurt you unless you give it permission. It cannot define you unless you surrender. It cannot control you unless you submit. You have the power. You have the discipline. You have the endurance. You have the clarity. Remember this. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Discomfort is the doorway to growth. Limits exist only in the mind. Push past them. One more rep, one more step, One more choice compounds into mastery. Accountability to yourself is your greatest weapon. Mastery of your mind is the ultimate freedom. You've been forged in fire, sculpted in discipline, and tempered in suffering. You've discovered that fear is a compass and pain is a ladder. You've realized that your mind is your strongest muscle and your resilience is your crown. So go forward, carry the lessons, push further, stand taller, and when the world tests you, as it always will, smile inwardly, breathe deeply, and know you cannot be hurt. You are your own fortress. You are your own master. You are unshakable. This is more than survival. This is life lived with absolute ownership. This is freedom. This is power. This is can't hurt me.